Hello, everybody. So, I just woke up and I just got out of the bath. I don't have a shower, sadly. Uh, so yeah, I did recently just shave. Not today. I shaved a few days ago. So I kind of look like a prepubescent little child, or I look like a baby. Um, I don't know. My hair's messed up, kinda. I'm actually growing my hair out a little bit. I haven't grown my hair out in a long time. By the way, this is a continuation to the series I was doing, which was talking about each hallucination I've had, each type of hallucination I've had. And this one is auditory hallucination. I've been dealing with these ever since I was a child. Oh, shit. But it didn't really become that prominent until I was like 11, 12 years old. Um, when I was a child, it really didn't happen that much. Neither did visual hallucinations. I mean, I did visually hallucinate more as a child than I did with auditory hallucinations, at least to my recollection. Um, Also, if you would like to suggest any video ideas, um, if you guys would like to suggest video ideas, just write it in the comments because I read all the comments. So if you would like to just if there's any video you would want to see from me, just let me know. Just write in the comments of this video or whatever, because I read all comments. What kind of videos you would like to see? I would love to do a video outside. Okay, guys, I would really love to, but it freaks me out. Okay, I don't know why. It just freaks me out. I don't like doing that. I don't like going outside, and yet I don't like making videos outside. That would be bad. Um, it would make me really uncomfortable. As you can see my cat in the background, she's being very annoying today, as per usual, because cats, especially this cat, she's very needy, and she always likes to just be on me. I don't know why, but she's cute. She's old. Ain't that right? You real old. Hey, you old. She's so old. I don't know when she'll be 19. But anyways, let's get into this video. Um, we're talking about auditory hallucinations. I've had a lot of auditory hallucinations in my lifetime. Also, I dropped down to 300 milligrams of Seroquel, by the way. I recently went to the doctors, the family doctor, not psychiatrist or anything like that. I got my blood pressure taken, and it was 90 over 60. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Did she just say 90 over 60? That is so low. So that kind of freaked me out a bit. Um, uh, that didn't really have anything to do with me dropping my medication down 100 milligrams because I was on 400. Um, it's just because I've been feeling very awful lately when on the 400 milligrams. I was always tired. I just felt awful, so I dropped down to 300 milligrams. So far, this is my second day taking it. So far, it's really, really good. Still a little sleepy. I still sleep quite a bit. Um, but anyways, back to what we were talking about. The most prominent and the most common auditory hallucination I have is female voices. I don't have male voices at all. I've had male voices very, very, very slim. Like very, very rarely I've had a male voice and talk to me. Um, it's always female voices telling me to harm myself. Okay, harm myself or harm other people. And if I don't harm someone, then I should harm myself. Stuff like that. Very demanding. My voices and my pretty much all of it is just scary, very demanding type stuff. You know and I've had that ever since I was about 11 years old. Voices telling me to harm myself, harm other people. Um, and most recently, I've always, cause like I always have voices that are very, that make me very delusional, right? Recently I've had like, not recently, but the most recent one that was pretty bad was me talking to aliens, me thinking I was talking to aliens, but at the same time, I kind of knew that it wasn't really 100% real. I was pretty delusional about it, and I thought it was very fascinating. Um, that I felt like I was talking to aliens, and the way I was talking to the aliens was through electronic devices, like through a phone or like through a TV or something like that. I just felt like and I had a running conversation with them for at least an hour, and it was so fascinating to me. It didn't freak me out at all. It didn't like I sometimes have voices that are um very fascinating and very intriguing to me, and it's kind of weird because I do fall into the delusion a little bit because of how fascinating it is. But I'm always in the back of my mind like, yeah, this is not real. It's not real. But it is fascinating. I'm very intrigued by fascinating stuff, and that's why this illness, schizophrenia, is one of the most fascinating, one of the most interesting illnesses there are out there. Um, because it's hard to determine what's real and what's not real. And those things that aren't real are very fascinating. Now, other types of voices I have, I'm going to say the most common that doesn't make sense is always voices. Most of the time when I have voices, they're not coherent messages. I mean, they're not coherent sentences. Like, most of the time they don't really make sense. They'll just say random words that honestly make no sense whatsoever. I also hear my name being said all the time, and I always like what is this? There's always this whenever I'm laying in bed. Most of the time when I'm laying in bed, I just get into bed, and I always have these weird voices. I visually hallucinate sometimes, but it's always auditory when I'm in bed, and it freaks me out a lot of the time because um, I don't know if it's real or not. Now, the hardest part about voices is knowing what's real and what's not real, and it's so difficult to tell. What the hell are those? Sorry. Um, it's always very hard to determine what's real and what's not real, especially when it comes out of nowhere. Now, especially with voices, it's very, very, very difficult to tell what's real and what's not real, unless it's like something that's just not making any sense. Um, Even when it's not making sense, it's really hard to tell if it's real or not, and it's hard for me to even come up with what they were saying because it's so hard to tell what they're saying. It's very faint, and it's not distant, but it's very faint. That's what it kind of sounds like all the time when I'm in bed. Just faint voices. I can't understand what they're saying, but it sounds like it's coming from in my room because my bed's like right over there. You can't see it, but my bed's like right there, and it's very creepy. I deal with that quite often when I'm laying down, going to sleep and everything. Um, Sorry. And I don't know. It's just really weird. I don't know what else I could talk about with these auditory hallucinations because it's never really anything that's very like straightforward to where you can hear it, where you can understand it. Because most of mine, I can't understand anything they're saying. I honestly can't. And I don't know. It's just really weird. And I'm getting freaking occupied by something else, so I'm losing my train of thought. Okay, focus. Let me think of other things that I've went through with voices. Most of the time, it's just demanding stuff, telling me to harm myself, telling me to harm others. Um, a lot of it is delusional. A lot of it is me thinking I'm talking to something with power, something with aliens, for example, something with a god or something like that. Um, Something with power, and then them telling me that they're going to give me power, which I find very fascinating, and that would be very, very, very cool. Me talking to an alien, and somehow they come here and give me some power, superpower, something like that. That's usually what it's about. That's usually what the delusional type of voices are about. And I just find it so fascinating that I can have a running conversation with an alien or aliens for a very long time, for an hour. Dead serious. I had a running conversation with aliens for an hour. And I really wish I could remember what we were talking about most of the time. But it's just so fascinating. This illness itself is just an extremely fascinating illness, where you can hear things, see things, feel things touch you, smell things that aren't real. It's one of the most fascinating things to me, and it really does. It's just a very weird illness. So that's about it for the auditory hallucinations that I can remember. I have a hard time remembering exactly what they say, remember exactly what they're talking about, because most of the time I cannot understand them. It's very hard. I've tried very hard to understand what they're saying, but it is nearly impossible because it's so faint sometimes. Most of the time it's really faint but very loud. It's like faint and loud at the same time, but I can't understand what they're saying. It's just a very weird thing. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever the thing is. All my social medias are down in the description if you want to follow. Also, if you guys want to see a type of video from me, just write it in the comments below if you want to, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I am sorry. Not tomorrow. See you guys sometime. Bye, everybody.